Welcome to this Excella University video on the topic of parcel search. My name is Thomas Strauss, and I will show you how to use the reference parcel lookup from several places within the Civic platform. First, I will demonstrate how the reference parcel search tool works. Then I will show you how to look up and add a parcel from a record and from the intake form. Let's get started. In the Civic platform, you can navigate to your parcel space from the Launchpad, accessing the page there. I have it pinned already on my main menu. So the parcel lookup for your reference database will consist of a number of search fields. In my case, I also have some custom attributes for parcel showing it's divided by a light blue line on the form. So I could look up parcel from these custom attributes, or I could use the standard parcel lookup. Typically, parcel number, block, or lot might be fields that you have, owner, address. So in this case, I'll look up a parcel using the parcel number and select Submit, and that retrieves the parcel from the database. And just as with an address that you might look up, you'll have a link that will open up the detail information for that particular parcel. Now in this case, before we look at that, I want to put a check in the box next to the parcel and notice the GIS button. And by selecting that, it will open up the GIS map. And once the map loads, you'll get a marker on the map showing you that particular parcel location on the map, and there are other actions that could be taken from there. Now if I navigate back to my parcel and select search again, this time rather than using the parcel number, I will use owner. And there's an important aspect of working with your reference database that any uniqueness that's required as it relates to the format of your parcel information needs to be carried over into your search. So for example, I'm going to look up an owner, and the way that the owner information is stored in the database is that it is last name, comma, first name, with no space between the comma and the first name. So if I enter the owner's name, last name, comma, first name, and submit, I'm able to find two possible results for this owner. And I could select the appropriate one, open up that parcel. Now if I go back to my search and I do this again, last name, comma, and then a space before the first name, then it's not going to work for me because the formatting is not a match to what's in the reference database. So in this case, I get 0 results because of that extra space. So that's important to keep in mind, that if you have an external reference database for your APO, any peculiarities or uniqueness that's required in those databases will continue over into your search form here. So that's looking up a parcel from the parcel reference lookup. And let's take a look at the detail when you click on the link of your parcel result. And so I can see a number of tabs that give me different types of information about the parcel. The parcel detail has all the basic parcel info, block and lot, or other information. There's also a tab for owner. In this case, parcel detail is down towards the bottom of the list, and owner is shown there. And there are other tabs that, depending on your permissions and your agency configuration, you may or may not use. Tracking, for example, genealogy, summary, splits, and history, There's also a tab at the top there for the associated address. I can see that info. I can link to that address from here. Any associated public users with this parcel would be displayed, associated records. Not covered in this video, but there are some tools that can be utilized here for moving records from one parcel to another, especially if there's been a split, or if you want to move records from a parent to a child. And those are covered in another video on managing parcel data. So similar to address or owner, you've got a number of tabs here. You could monitor conditions that have been applied to the parcel, add those, remove those. Documents are also available and can be attached to a parcel, such as a site photo, and that's a possibility here. So these are the types of tabs that you'll see if you look up one of your parcels in your database. So the next one that we will look at here will be searching for a parcel from a record. So the first one was searching for a parcel from the parcel lookup for your reference database. I've pulled open a record, and if you notice the quick access ribbon across the top, for location, none provided, parcel, none provided, owner, none provided. So I'm going to navigate to the parcel tab, and there are buttons here, and these work the same as they do for address. You can see address has the same set of buttons, and so here I'm going to go through these. First of all, new allows you to add any parcel that you wish to this transactional record, and it's not necessarily validated. So you could make up a parcel and add it to this particular record. It does not update the database. It exists only here on this transactional record. So I could put in this information, submit that, and it would be stored just as I've added it right here with the parcel. Delete obviously deletes a parcel if you have one. Lookup and search are very similar. They're the basic parcel lookup form, and the difference being that search and select will automatically, if there's only one result found, it will automatically select it and add it to the record. So in this case, I'll do lookup first. I'm going to put in the parcel number and use that as my criteria, submit, and it pulls open a result. I can now choose to select that and add it to the record. So as soon as I do that, my setup has configured that these are going to be automatically added. Any associated address or owner or GIS object will be all automatically added to the record. That can be set up as a prompt to let you choose whether to add any associated addresses, owners, or objects. Or it could be set up so that you have to manually look for associated addresses or GIS objects or owners. All right, so that's how I have it set up. And if I select the checkbox here, I can delete that. And then I'll show you the search and select, which is similar, but again, auto selects and adds to the record. So once I've entered my parcel number, you can see the system automatically applying that. I don't need to select. So that's how you can work with a record and use the parcel tab to look up and add a parcel. And just like with an address, if parcel is required on this particular record type, then you need to add a different parcel before you can delete the existing parcel. So if the parcel were incorrect and you wanted to remove it and add the correct parcel, you would need to add another parcel, then remove the incorrectly added parcel. So the next one we'll look at is going to be using the parcel search on the intake form. So I will navigate to an intake form for those that are working with setting up new records in the back office. I'm going to open up the intake form and navigate to the parcel section on the form and show you how to work with that. Now, in the parcel section, if the parcel section is required, then obviously to set up a record, you're going to have a parcel. If it's not required, as mine is set up that way, I don't have to add a parcel. I will, though, for demonstration purposes. And of course, if you've got the parcel number, you can use that to look up the parcel. You can also use some of the other fields. You've got block, lot, there's custom fields that might be associated with the parcel that could be used. So in this case, just like with address, if address or parcel are set with validation turned on, then you're only going to be able to pull in a parcel that exists in your reference database. And that's how you would use search here, is to select search and find a match, and then it pulls it in automatically to the form. So I'm going to look up this particular parcel, and a match is found, and it adds the address, it adds the parcel, and it adds the owner to the form. So there's also some other capabilities here. You could add multiple parcels for a record and set one of those as primary. If there are more than one, you'll see there's a little radio dial that allows you to set one as primary. In this case, I'm going to delete this parcel from the form, and you'll note that it removes it from the address, it removes it from the owner info as well. And I have a GIS button. So now I'm going to use the map to look up the parcel and then add it to the form. So once my map has loaded, I'm going to look up the same parcel, and I get a result. And I can see the result marked on the form. And from here, after selecting that parcel, my action menu opens up, and I have an option to send the GIS feature. And when I use that, I get the ability to confirm the parcel that I want to add and select submit on the form that opens up. And you'll see that my parcel has been added to the form, and I did that from the map. I went to GIS, looked up the parcel, used the action menu to send the GIS feature, it's added it. However, notice that the associated address has not been added and the associated owner has not been added. So in this case, I'll use the button Get Address and Owner, and I get a little pop-up here that shows the associated address, shows the owner, and then updates the form with the appropriate associated address and with the owner. So that's how you can use these buttons here, looking up a parcel, getting address and owner in the event that you've pulled in a parcel, let's say using the map, the GIS option, and you can then add those address and owner associations to the form. So that's how you'd use it for the intake form, and that completes our video on parcel search. So at this point, you should now be familiar with how to access parcel details from the reference parcel space. You should know how to look up and add a parcel from a record and also from the intake form. Thanks for watching.